this one will be returnable. To the 15, spinning on a tackle is there.
One man to beat.
Gayton to the 40. Gayton to the outside. Gayton inside the 30. Down the sideline he goes, and he'll get in for the touchdown. No flags down.
That's one of the most determined runs I've ever seen in high school football. He was stopped at the 17-yard line.
Week number 6 is now officially gone and done with, and our new CET Sports polls are about ready to be unveiled. Welcome to ISPN.TV. Along with Marty Cesario, I'm Brian Roth. Before we get to the top 10s, boy, we had a great game. 5A matchup. It really was the matchup of the week. It was number 2 Chatfield taking on number 4 Pomona, and Pomona rolls in this one. I'll tell you what, Marty, very, very impressed with those Pomona Panthers. Really got the job done on the ground. Nathan Grimes is a heck of a quarterback that I don't think a lot of people know about. And then obviously Tyler Pace got the job done on the ground. That's a good football team.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. We still, or at least I focus on the Pomona Panthers. Their issue at the start of the season was the offensive line. Kind of young, had to replace everybody. They're obviously performing. And then don't forget the defense with Dejan Tyler and the way those guys have been hammering people, you know, those black jerseys, clearly doing well for the Panthers.
Yeah, they did a great job against Sam Stratton and the Chargers. 42-21, the final score in that one. So number 4 beats number 2. That means there has to be a shakeup in the latest 5A poll, and indeed there was. Let's take our first look at that 5A poll, and Pomona, we moved them up to number 2. We leapfrog them over Fairview. Our argument on that is it's the best conference in the state, the Big 8, there's no question, and Pomona has gone 6-0 so far through that. I think they deserve to be number 2, right behind Mullen, who Marty rolled again.
Right, yeah, and you know, I keep every week trying to shake the flashy image that we're used to with the Mullen Mustangs, but it's all about the running game and then definitely the defense. They shut out Arapahoe. That's their 3rd shutout. They've given up exactly 3 touchdowns all season long. Big defense for those Mullen Mustangs. They deserve to be. They're the front runners. I mean, there's just no question.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns all season long. 2 of the touchdowns came against in-state teams. Rockhurst in Missouri was the only other team to score a touchdown against those Mullen Mustangs. They are absolutely rolling. They have Cherry Creek coming up this week. It's a rematch of the state finals from last year. Mike Brookhardt's team struggling a little bit with Kane Coulter not playing quarterback. They're 2-4, maybe not the matchup. Many people thought that'd be the start of the season. The rest of the top 10, well, again, Fairview stays at 3. They got a big win over Legacy. Chaparral, they look to be the class of the Southern League. Fort Collins continues to roll. Fort Collins and Fairview will meet in a couple of weeks. Arvada West still in there, and then a couple of newcomers. Grandview, 4-2. In fact, there's a host of 4-2 teams, Marty, and Grandview, we put them in out of the Centennial League, give the Centennial League another representative. I think there's still a lot of believers in the Wolves around the state, and that boy could have chosen any number of those 4-2 teams in the Southern Conference. We're going to go ahead and leave Ponderosa in our top 10.
Well, Grandview, I think we put them in because we know they've got the personnel. Maybe they stumbled a couple of times, but you know, Colt Schultz has got people over there. You know, and then as far as the I guess 4-pack of Southern League squads, well, they're all 4-2. We got, you know, Highlands Ranch, Ponderosa, Thunder Ridge, and you know, who am I missing there with Mountain Vista? In the end, Ponderosa gets the nod because their 2 losses to the top squads in that league, Chatfield and Chaparral. Also, Ponderosa beat Highlands Ranch and Thunder Ridge. So Segura, Thornton, Lang, you get in the top 10.
All right, that's a look at the 5A top 10. Let's now go to the 4A top 10. Greeley West stays atop that 4A top 10. Really no surprise there. And you look at the rest of it, and I'll tell you what, there's a little bit of a shakeup. Those top 5-6 teams look to be right there, but Montrose, they lose against Rock Canyon.
I think perhaps Montrose came over and got shocked by the Jaguars' you know, style of play, you know, the wide open attack. Still, the Indians, I mean, they're a very solid club. Gotta keep them in there.
Yep, without question. And that Lewis Palmer, they lose to Liberty, so we're going to go ahead and throw Liberty in there, give some Colorado Springs teams a little bit more love here, and then newcomer. How about those Durango Demons? We don't get a lot of exposure to Durango here in the Denver metro area along the Front Range, but they're off to a 6-0 start.
Yeah, and you know what? You know, here's the argument. You outscore some, you know, throughout the schedule, 204-61 overall. That's making people notice, and obviously Coach Wyatt's got his squad undefeated at 6-0 with a few 4-2 teams vying for those last couple of spots in the 4A poll. Well, guess what, Durango, you get the nod. You earned it.
Yeah, no question. There's a handful of 5-1 teams still out there. We mentioned Liberty, who's in our top 10. Lewis Palmer, who lost to Liberty last week. You have Brighton is still at 5-1. You have Littleton at 5-1. Then some pretty good 4-2 teams. Loveland, Broomfield out of that Northern Conference, they're both sitting at 4-2. Rock Canyon sitting at 4-2 as well. There's a lot of parity as you get towards the bottom of 4A in terms of the bottom of top 5, 6, down through about 12, 13, and 14.
Well, we get that time of year also when, the cream of the crop in those certain leagues, whatever league you play in, you start beating each other up, and that's where people start grabbing losses. Those squads you mentioned, you also got Dakota Ridge, and Legacy, in 5A, who are those teams that have 2 losses. Certainly deserving of getting a little notice, but not quite yet.
Yep, no question about that. That's a look at our 4A and 5A top 10s. Don't forget, we're going to head back down to Pueblo coming up this week. We're going to have the Cannon game. That's Pueblo South taking on Pueblo East, and we'll also be up in Fort Collins for another great rivalry matchup. It'll be Pooter and Rocky Mountain. For Marty Cesario, I'm Brian Roth. You're watching ISPN.TV.